take on Ashala Botre for match 1. Second match, Alado will take on Tudu. Fadama will take on Mamubi. Madina will take on Nungwa Zongo. Tungan Kada will take on Accra New Town. Ashama will take on Sabon Zongo. Dakuma will slag it against Sawam Zongo. And the last match for the prelim will see Kasua locking horns against Nima. So these are the matches. Shall we put our hands together for ourselves? Great, great, great. Thank you so much. Now we would humbly invite the minister.
It happened that every dawn, the azan will be sounded by the Bilal. So the people thought it was a disturbance. Finally, the chief of that village asked that the people leave, and they left. They have gold, they have everything, but the town was always going backwards. This is a life story. Went to Asantehene, the chief. He doesn't understand. His town is always going backward. So he asked him, who is Zongo for Ukru? Said David, then go and look for them. It's a real story I'm telling you. And the fellow went back, went to plead, the leader of that place who had left, to come back. There's one thing we should remember. Life is always a two-way street. It can never be made by one person. And I am so happy that our eminent, the National Chief Imam, a man who is an embodiment of peace, love, and compassion, who, if you read his story, or his history, or his biography, was one time a footballer. And this recalls my memory that if Ghana, I've never been boastful of that, but I always say that Ghana is made up of serious Zongo footballers. Zongo is a resource of footballers. That one is gifted. Any Zongo boy who rises up. I played football, I played basketball to national level, and I played hockey for my school. And so I have so much interest in that area. Now you can imagine, this exercise is a renaissance to an earth, or reawake people like the Baba Yares, the Usmans, Amos Agbademoshi, the Lawals, Abubakar Chinchirga, Malik, Sandy, all the way down to the Abedis. The first 3 best players of Africa all come from Zongo, if I'm not mistaken. The first was Sandy, Ibrahim Sandy from Kofodia. The second was Golden Boy Abdul Razak. And the third, Abedi Peli. We are yet to get the fourth. So, and sports, especially football, if you care to know, is for humanitarian development and peace building. We have used sports to console and comfort people, even people with AIDS, to let them understand that with their exercises they embark upon, they become healthy. So no one should underestimate sports, irrespective of the field. It ensures discipline, it gives you a healthy body. Sometimes, some colleagues of mine will tell me that I don't grow old. I say, yes, it's because I've always been training. Because you become physically fit. And I believe that I have always been convinced. If you care, if you remember, about 6-7 months ago, when we had the disturbances at Aswasi, sometime last year, I used football to reconcile everybody in. And it was in a deep time when people were really weeping, sorrowing, where they had lost about 6-7 children. And when they were said to have been armed robbers, when they were not armed robbers. And it was at the tail end of the Ramadan. The only way I could do to bring my people together was to organize a football match. And I made a promise that we'll get an AstroTurf for them. And the whole of the Zungus, I never invited policemen to come near, no military men. And the game was played in a very serene manner, and we had the regional chief imam, all those you care to know, all the old footballers were all there. And so you can see the magic of football. Today, football speaks louder than any other discipline. So, first of all, we need to congratulate Tanim for having that idea and how those who helped him to move to that idea. And today, I believe, come years ahead, we'll be having this thing spread across the country. And it will be an opportunity to unearth a lot of talents within the Zongo communities. They are part and parcel, because these were areas that were marginalized totally, and they find themselves as if they were not part of the nation, but they contribute enormously to the growth, the gross domestic product of the economy. So this is the time to educate the people. And His Excellency the Vice President will have wished to be here, but unfortunately, an equally important national assignment has prevented him from being here. I sends his apology, but once I'm around to step in his shoes, I'm sure members here will be consoled. And we are very happy. I'm happy that the National Sports Fraternity, big shots all have given a blessing to this tournament. And I can assure you that this year's tournament, though I'm not being biased, but looking at my face and smiling, Ashama won't come near Medina. So this is something very nice, and I hope in other disciplines such things come. Because if you go to Medina, I hope in future we should have a basketball court, long tennis, multi-purpose court, and if this year they open the place, I believe this exercise can start. And you see what the Ministry of Zongo and Inner City has for the Zongo communities. Because we believe that there are many activities that will unite the Zongus. It's not just about keeping themselves away and using them as instruments of production. They are more or less catalysts. Politicians have always taken advantage of them, because when you go to the Zongo communities, unemployment is very high. The level of income, very low. Standard of living, very low. And so anybody can poach and use them. But I believe that this is the turning point. Because if you get one person from one Zongo community rising up to the level of an elite footballer, he can develop the whole of Zongo. And I know we have a lot of mercies in the Zongo communities if they are given the opportunity. And you can imagine, if people like Ronaldo was a street boy, today he donates to Islamic communities for Ramadan. One person. So why can't we have such people? There are a lot of people there. We haven't given them the chance. But I believe through the vision of His Eminence, the National Chief Imam, with his program, with this tournament, which will live in perpetuity, I believe a lot of people will rise up in his name. And especially where we want to climax this year's tournament, in his centenary birthday, it must be special. And His Excellency the Vice President has asked me to assure you, before you begin, you have something special. And so you have no problem at all. So that is what I have for you. So I'm encouraging Medina. This is your time to take that special award. So at this juncture, on His Excellency's behalf, I wish to launch this year's fifth Sheikh Nuhu Sharubutu's tournament of cup, football cup launched. Thank you very much.